Welcome to the AI Edge. This presentation is about working smarter, simplifying workflows, reclaiming your time so that you can spend it on more productive things. Okay. All right. Hello, hello, hello. I am Dr. Inga Parker. Just a little bit about me. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I am a certified AI consultant. I am a former educator of 25 years. I have been a classroom teacher, an instructional coach, and an assistant principal. So I recently, June 5th, turned in my keys and my badge to pursue this new career of entrepreneurship. And so I am coaching, speaking, training, doing workshops, and servicing individuals and organizations. I am the wife of the wonderful Frederick Parker. I am the mother of Asa, who is a senior and starting school for his senior year tomorrow. My mama heart is not ready. I am also the founder of Ignite with Inga Parker. Ignite with Inga Parker is a brand under the umbrella of Parker Prime Solutions, which was founded by myself and my husband. A part of my teaching philosophy is AI should never replace human thinking. We are not turning over our brains to AI. We are still thinking for ourselves. We're just using AI to reduce some busy work so that we can focus on the work that really matters and have more impact on the human work. Right. And I always emphasize using AI with integrity. We don't ever want to just let AI run our lives and take over everything. We want to make sure that we are still in control and that we're using it with integrity. Think about the problem. Most of our biggest problem is either in work or personal life. We're busy and we're burning out because we're trying to do so many things at once, and it just takes a lot of energy and it can be exhausting. So we are busy doing work, we have decision fatigue, we're overloaded with content, emails, starting everything from scratch. And we have a lot of repetitive tasks that hopefully we'll learn how to automate some of those today. Now, what is the solution? Oftentimes, when we think about using artificial intelligence, we think about it in terms of what tool can we use, and we can get burnt out with the number of tools there are. So AI is not new. We've been using it to a certain extent, but these large language models that you can put in information and get outputs quickly, or you can give information and they can actually perform tasks for us. That's the new component of it. So it's not that AI is new, it's just that it's getting a lot of traction right now because of the new models. Like ChatGPT came out in like 2022, I think November of 2022, and it really started booming in early 2025. And so now almost everybody I know is using ChatGPT in some way, form, or another. But there are so many different use cases to it. And oftentimes we use the tools without asking the question. So we have to shift our mindset to stop thinking about what AI tool can I use to thinking about what problem am I trying to solve. And once we're able to think about the problem that we're trying to solve, we're better able to use the tool or better able to choose an appropriate tool for us to use. And so that set shift comes when we think about any task that or any problem that we have to solve. There should be, once we start using AI, there's an automated system that should become like second nature after a while. And so this is how we begin to automate systems. When we think about what is the problem, what task do I need to complete to solve the problem? What AI tool can I use to actually help me solve that problem? And then turn it into a workflow. And once that becomes repetitive, then we begin to see that time save. For example, we have frameworks. I have a framework. It's called a CITER framework. It stands for spot the friction, which is identify the problem, identify the tool, create a system, develop a system, and repeat. So that's the CIDR framework. We spot the friction, identify the tool, develop a system, and repeat. And so once we begin to get in that cycle or that automation, then our workflow becomes more productive and we save a lot more time. I think about two tools that I use often when it comes to that framework, and they are ChatGPT and Claude. So ChatGPT is the first tool that I ever started using in terms of large language models. That's a tool that you can input information and it gives you information back. You have an input, it gives you an output. That's what we consider large language models. And so ChatGPT and Claude are probably my favorite two large language models. Um, because of the way they work, they're able to organize information, they're able to give you solutions to problems. And so it's all about determining which one you like the best. Some people prefer Claude, some people prefer ChatGPT. And the one thing that they're doing right now, like ChatGPT just came out with a new version, a new work version in mid-July. And it's almost like if anybody has iPhones, it's almost like when you buy your iPhone and then 3 weeks later they come out with the new model. That's kind of what these large language models are doing. So Claude, which is really good, has Claude Cowork, and now ChatGPT just came out with Chat Work. And so it's not only able to give you information, but it's actually allowing us to automate systems where we're getting some work done. And I'll show you some demonstrations of that in just a moment. So we don't want to get caught up in information overload because there are so many tools. We want to have the information that leads to the implementation that leads to workflows and save time. So we just said that we are identifying our problem, finding out the task, and giving it to an AI system. So it's important that you know what these uh, tools are able to do and what purpose they serve. So when I think about creating, when I think about brainstorming and writing and just dumping, when I think about brain dumping to come up with a solution, I use ChatGPT because you can actually speak out your prompt and chat will do the work for you. So I want to show you a case of that. So I'm going to come out real quick and I'm going to go to my ChatGPT. And no longer am I typing into ChatGPT. I'm going to come here and I'm going to use my dictate button and I'm just going to speak out a prompt and just brain dump. And it doesn't even really have to make sense. The crazy thing is you can just speak the way you're thinking and chat will put it into a format that makes sense. You don't have to make sense, but he'll make it make sense. So, hey chat, I'm the mom of a senior and he's about to be a senior in high school. He plays travel basketball and we are trying to get schedules outlined where we're able to have a flow where I don't get confused. I'm able to schedule his basketball games, his school projects, and make sure we're on track with Common App and applying for scholarships. Give me a system that I can follow to help me organize my thoughts because it's becoming overwhelming. So I spoke it out. I'm not going to change anything in terms of what I spoke out, but I am going to come to the beginning of this and I'm just going to say, rewrite this so that it's clear and makes sense. And then I'm going to hit enter. And see how chat just took my mumble jumble and turned it into a nice, precise organized format of what I need. So he's getting my master calendars, weekly planning routines, a way to track common app. And so what I'm going to do now that I have a good prompt, now I didn't have a good prompt, the chat gave me a good prompt. So now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to repaste it. So now this is now my prompt. So I had a messy, sloppy prompt. I spoke it out. I went to the beginning of it and I said, rewrite this so that it's clear and makes sense. Chat rewrote it so that it's clear and makes sense. And now I'm going to give it back to him to give me an output. So he's thinking. And so as chat is thinking, we don't even have to have the answers, right? We don't even have to have the right questions to ask. We just have to have some words in the form of a brain dump and ask chat to turn that brain dump into something that makes sense. And then he's going to create basically a protocol for me to follow this senior year. So I'm going to use a Google Calendar. I'm going to color code it, which is perfect for me because if anybody knows anything about me, you know that I love my colored pens and my color coded folders because that's the way my system works. And the other thing that I'll point out, Chat probably knows that because I work with Chat GPT so often. And the more that you work with a tool, the more that you use a tool, it stores memory so it gets to know you. So I can assure you that if somebody else who has not put anything about color codes in their chat GPT, it may not give them a color coded system. But because I've used it so much, it knows that I like color coded systems. And so it's created an entire system for me to be able to use to track what I need to track for ASA senior year. Just makes life easier. It just makes life easier. Now, I also said that it does work. So that's a case where we're just using the chat. Now I'm going to show you a case where we actually put Chat GPT to work. So I'm going to say, and I'm not going to type it. I'm just going to talk it out. And so imagine having your phone for our new users who haven't really um, dug into using these tools. Imagine having your phone and being able to just pull up your Chat GPT app and speak these things out. So I'm going to say, chat, I need to book a flight leaving Atlanta to St. Louis on Friday, August 14th. I prefer a morning flight and a nonstop flight. I prefer to fly Delta, but you can also check Southwest. Give me the best times with the most affordable flights. So chat has my information. He knows when I'm leaving. He knows what time and what airlines I want to fly. Now, I'm not even going to fix this one up. I'm just going to let him go to work. And so he's thinking. He's going to check current nonstop morning options from Atlanta to St. Louis on Friday, August 14th. He's going to compare Delta to Southwest for the best mix of schedule and price. And so this is going to take a while, so I'm going to come back to this later. But this is just work that we no longer have to do, right? So now chat is doing this work for us and we can save that time. And now I can move on to another task rather than me spending time looking for a flight. I went through Delta, they too high. Now I got to go over to Southwest and look at all their flights. How much time is saved by just giving that task? It's like having an assistant. I've given that task to my assistant. Once he gets the prices, he's going to come back and he's going to give me some information. Now, I'm not here yet. Some people are. Some people have connected their flights, their credit cards, and everything. My coach, Alicia Little, Chad is booking her flights for her. I'm not there yet, but I just want them to give me the information, then I'll go from there. But some people are actually using it to the max, and it's their entire agent. They're using it. He's booking their flights. He's booking their reservations and hotels. He's booking their car rentals. So it's so much that can be done to save time. So you can save a lot of time by letting them do all that, or you can save some time the way I feel comfortable saving time, which is by allowing him to go fetch the information, bring it to me, and then I make the final decision and book it myself. Okay. So if you're creating or working, ChatGPT and Claude are and I just got an alert on my watch. So he's done. We'll go back to it in a minute though. But if you're creating, ChatGPT and Claude are your go-tos. And they're not the only ones, but like I said, we don't want to get overwhelmed by all of the tools. So I just have a couple, one or two for each area, and I just use those one or two because I'll be down a rabbit hole all day long because there's so many tools that can be used for all of these areas. But I find my content areas, whether I'm creating, researching, designing, or automating, and I choose one or two tools that I stick to for those areas. So when I'm doing research, no longer are we searching articles and or going to the libraries looking for all of the information. Perplexity is the best research tool, hands down. I'm not gonna argue about it, but it's so good, y'all. Perplexity, it gives you the sources, where the information came from, when the information was developed. It gives you articles, it gives you textbooks. It's just so good. And it also analyzes the information and formats it into a simple readable way, because sometimes some of those technical um, terms can get really confusing. So Perplexity just he takes a difficult concept, researches it, and breaks it down so that a fifth grader can understand it. So that's why I really like Perplexity. If your content area is design, I recommend Canva or Gamma. So I use Gamma when I am creating presentations. I didn't do this one in Gamma, but typically I use it when I'm creating presentations because all you have to do is speak a prompt and then it will give you an output. I'll show you a use case for that also. So this is Gamma. I'm going to generate a new presentation. Now this one you have to type out, but that's okay. Let's say I'm a fifth grade teacher and we are studying figurative language. Create a slide presentation that is engaging and fun and explains this concept in different ways. Because for my teachers on here, we know we got to differentiate, right? So I want it in different, I want the slides to include some differentiation. So it's telling me what it's going to do. Now, y'all, this would have taken so long just to come up with the breakdown of the slides. As soon as I hit enter or send, that took about 10 seconds for those slides to get generated. Okay, I'm going through. I like it. I like it. Now I'm going to tell it to generate. I just clicked on generate. It's going to generate my slides for me. And I'm not doing anything. It's doing all the work. I typed in the prompt. Now, if I was doing this and I really um wanted a good solid prompt, what I do sometimes also is I'll type it in Gamma, then I'll take it and put it back in Chat GPT and say rewrite this so that it's clear, organized, and makes sense for the readers. So while Gamma is building that website, I'm going to now check on my flights. Look what we have. Delta at 7:30, arrive at 8:08. Sounds good to me. And then it gave me a Southwest option. So this just helps to save time. Now from here, I would just go to the site and book whichever option I choose. So time saved there. Gamma's still working. And so while Gamma's still working, I'm gonna hop back to the presentation. Actually, I'm gonna pause for just a moment and see, are there any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
So you know I have a business, and I know you
Uh-huh.
guys have this business. How do you use it to help you with your business?
Okay. So whereas I was talking about whereas I was talking about how ChatGPT and Claude could help you. So give me a problem for your business.
Um,
Or think about it for a minute because I'm gonna come to a slide where we're gonna do a little bit of work and then have a problem that we can kind of tackle. Okay.
okay, okay.
All right. All right. So if if you are creating, that's Gamma and Canva. And then finally, when you're automating systems, and Libby, this would be good for businesses because you want to put some things on automation, some things that you don't have to do. So if a client reaches out to you or a customer reaches out and they're interested in purchasing something, you don't always have to be the one to reply to the email. Your your automated system can reply to emails for you. Now, I do have some automated systems where my agent is replying to emails, but like I said, I'm not there yet. I always say approve, let me approve it. I have to approve it before it's sent. And so there are some systems, even with this presentation. So when you are registered, I haven't sent not one email. Actually, I did send one. I sent two because my automated system, I use Base 44. Base 44 told me that two of the participants it kicked their email back. So I had to manually reach out to those two. But everybody else, you filled out the form, you received the email with the link and the time, and I did not send that. It was an automated system. Even in terms of the registration tool, that's an automated system. So when you think about business, again, Libby, this speaks to your question. When you think about business, if you have those type of systems automated, like if you have an app that's set up for your interested clients to fill in, I'm interested in purchasing whatever they're interested in purchasing, you can have an automated system where they enter their name, their email address, and what they're interested in. And your system can have like trigger words where if they say this, then it'll kick back a response based on whatever the information the client puts in. So that's a good way to be able to use it in business. All right. So let's think about systems. Think about your own career. Libby, you were right on time because it was the next slide. Think about your own career and think about a problem that you face or something that's draining your time or something that requires too much of your effort that's taken away from your human impact. Because a lot of things that we do, they're administrative tasks. They're not moving the needle. If you're in education, you need to be in the classrooms, right? And so you need to be able to automate those administrative tasks. If you're in business, you need to be baking if you're a baker. You need to be whatever your business is, you need to be focused on the product and the people rather than the administration of it. And so that's pretty much what the system does for us. So think about a problem. Think about a task that it would take to solve that problem. And then based on those four content areas that we just talked about, think about a tool that you would choose. And I'll just go back real quick. If it's create, You can think about Chat GPT or Claude. If it's research based, Perplexity would be my recommendation. If you're designing something, Canva AI or Gamma. And if it's a system that needs to be automated, Manus is good, but Base 44 is my favorite. It's just personal preference. So take a couple of minutes and think about a problem. And it goes back to that first slide that I had where we identify the problem, we determine the task that it would take to solve the problem, we determine the tool that we'll use to input the problem. So I'm going to go back to Chat GPT. And I like doing demonstrations because I just think it helps to clarify, maybe. So I'm going to think about my problem. And this is a real problem that I have because I've been connecting since I started my business with school districts and systems, individual schools, a couple of business owners. But what I haven't done is, and I'm about to tell Chat my problem, I have not connected with small business owners in my area. I need to, that's the problem. The task is I need to generate emails that reach out specifically to business owners in Hampton, Georgia. I want you to think about my strengths and create a proposal based on what you know about me, sending these small businesses in Hampton information so that they are aware of my business and they understand the work that I do. So that is my problem. I have not connected. I don't know why I haven't, but I haven't reached out to any of the small businesses in Hampton. I'm going to again go back to the beginning of this because that don't even make sense. Some of these sentences are incomplete, but I need it to make sense. So I'm going to just go back to Chat and tell Chat to write a prompt for Chat that makes sense. So rewrite a prompt for Chat GP, GPT that is cohesive and makes sense. I just needed to make sense. And then I hit enter. Ooh. And when you get the best prompts, you tell it to act as someone. So if you're in criminal justice, you may say, act as a judge and write this particular email. Or if you're in education, act as a master teacher and generate whatever you're trying to generate. So when chat gives you a prompt, if it doesn't say act as, if you go to the front of it and say act as a whatever it is, if you're designing content, act as a master content creator to do whatever it is that you want to do. When you tell it to act as someone, then it really gives you a better output. So then again, it has cleaned up that messy prompt. Now look how little I said up here. And look at this nice all inclusive prompt that it has given me. So now it's telling my strength, streamlining processes, creating customized systems. Now, did I tell chat that? No. But because I work with the tool so much, again, it knows me, it knows what I do. And so it's able to create on my behalf because it knows me. Again, it's like an assistant who knows you and is able to help you streamline processes because that's what I do. Streamline processes, simplify repetitive time consuming tasks. I provide coaching, consulting, and speaking. Da da da. And so now I'm going to just go here and copy that because it has created my prompt. And now I'm going to paste my prompt for it to do the work. So it should give me a nice email that I'm able to send out to the people of Hampton to introduce myself and my business. All right. And so while it is working, I know I'm jumping around, but I have 1 hour and I want to give a lot of information. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping around. If I'm going too fast, somebody just unmute and say, slow it down a little bit, and I will. But while it's generating my email or my communication that's going to go out to my City of Hampton business owners, I'm going to hop back over to this figurative language PowerPoint presentation and see what it gave me. Ooh, that's pretty. So the secret code to figurative language. Y'all, all I did was gave this tool a simple prompt and it developed all of this for me. So this would be what I use to guide my instruction as I'm talking about figurative language with my fifth graders. Awesome. So it's talking about similes, metaphors, personification, all hyperboles, all of the things that go along with figurative language, onomatopoeias, alliteration, idioms. So it's covering every aspect of figurative language in this document. And then, so what I would do is I would go through this. If I like it, fine. If I don't like it, I would say, I don't like the section on idioms. I want to include whatever I want to include, and then it will revise it for me. Hours, literally hours saved. I'm thinking back to being in the classroom and how many hours I would spend just trying to perfect my slides. Now, now they can be done for you. Automated systems. Okay. So back to my business outreach. It has identified the small businesses, and y'all think this not gonna be my work for tomorrow, but it is. Is identify all of the small businesses that I could likely connect with and let them know what I do to see if they need help with automating their systems or creating workflows. And then after I read through all of this, it has given me information that I can send out to the business. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Pausing again for questions. If you have a question, you could just come off mute because all I see is my presentation. Okay.
Uh,
Eva,
Eva,
can
this
Uh-huh.
is Libby
you read
again.
the chat? Oh,
Oh,
This is who?
this is Libby again.
Hey.
Hey, so my one of my problems is like following up with. So say for instance somebody bought a spice, but then I want them to buy another spice, or yeah, to buy another spice. Follow up, see how they liked it, to leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
None of that is in place, not automatically. Like I would have to remember to go
Right.
send out some email. Yeah. So I want to
It
do
can't,
all of that.
yeah, it's definitely possible. And I'll get to once I get to the end, I'll share what I'm doing next steps. And so I would definitely be able to help you with that. Definitely.
and Keeper, there were a few questions in the chat as well too.
Okay. Kadaba, can you read a couple of them for me?
Sure. No problem. Let's
I
see.
didn't put my agent in the chat.
Hey,
Sorry.
that's okay. Don't mind helping out. Nicola, which tool is better, Gamma or Chat GPT for presentation?
Gamma for presentation, but Chat GPT for information. So I would almost say use them together. So you want to use Chat GPT to create the prompt that you give to Gamma so that Gamma is able to give you a good presentation. Chat GPT is really good with um, structuring and organizing prompts so that you get a good output from whatever other tool you use. I often start with Chat GPT and then I move to other tools. So I would say prompt in Chat GPT, copy it, paste it into Gamma for Gamma to give you your presentation.
And and then we have another question. Annika was asking about which tool would you recommend using to create interactive lesson plans?
A lot of people like magic schools. I like magic schools. That's a good one for interactive lesson plans, but ChatGPT can create them too. And so when we think about money, if you're gonna get the biggest bang for your buck out of a tool, it's probably gonna be a paid version. And so like ChatGPT has a $20 paid version. I don't really remember how much Magic Schools was. I used it 1 year. Um, but it was good. But ChatGPT can do the same thing.
And then the last question was actually mine. I was asking which you've had better results with when it comes to chat or Claude and connecting Canva to create like social media graphics, things of that. Have you tried that
Mm,
yet?
yes. So ChatGPT, I look at ChatGPT and Claude as polar opposites. ChatGPT is like your girlfriend or your homeboy who's gonna be like, yeah, girl, that's good. You can do it. I put 15 things in chat and it'll try to organize it, prioritize it, and tell me how to do it. If I put that same prompt, which I often do, and I recommend put it in both and see which one gives you the better output. But if I put that exact same thing in Claude, he's gonna say, girl, you're doing too much. Five of these don't even go with whatever you're trying to do. So you need to take those out and focus here. So
Got it.
Claude is more of a systematic, strategic thinker. Whereas
Mhm.
ChatGPT, in my experience, tries to make everything I say work. That sounds
Right.
like a good idea. You know that wasn't a good idea, but he tried to make it work. Claude is more Uncle Claude. He gonna tell you that is not it. You need to go back to the drawing board. He's gonna give you some suggestions for it, but he will tell you that's not it. So I like Claude's honesty. But when it's something I know I want to do, I like that ChatGPT will make it work for me, if that
And
makes
you
sense.
used it with Canva?
I used um ChatGPT with Canva.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
I've used Claude with Canva because Claude will create images, but they're not as good as ChatGPT's images. And so a lot of times I'll do an image in ChatGPT and then I'll take it and put it in Canva
Hmm.
just because I'm tired of the ChatGPT flyers and images.
Right.
They're a little busy and they can be too much, but sometimes they have really good features. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a chat GPT image and I'll put it into Canva and I'll say remove the background. And I'll just have the forefront of whatever it created. And I'm able to create a less busy background.
Makes sense. Okay, got you. Thank you.
Mhm. Great questions. So here are just a couple of workflows. Again, we've talked about content creation. I just kind of talked about how I do my brain dump, put it in chat. I'll take it to Claude just for extra depth and strategy because Claude does think a little more strategic, in my opinion. And then sometimes I'll put it into Manus if I'm trying to build something or publish something. Like this was the exact workflow I had for this presentation. So I brain dumped in ChatGPT. I organized it. I organized it in ChatGPT. I refined it and strengthened it in Claude, and then I put it in Manus so that Manus could create the slides. I had seen one of my coaches do a whiteboard background, and she said she used Manus, and so I knew I wanted the whiteboard look for this presentation. So I took what Claude gave me and put that in Manus to create the slides. So that was my workflow for this particular presentation and looking at the different presentation styles that Manus had, I will definitely use that same format again. When you're doing your presentation prep, you want to make sure that you don't just take, and this is for anything, you want to make sure that you don't just take whatever it gives you. You want to make sure that you refine it, make it your own, and you don't just take an output from something and not know exactly what it means or what it's talking about. I had a parent one time who sent me an email. She wanted her child to have a 504. This is for students who have some type of medical or mental or physical impairment. And so she wanted her child to have a 504. So she sent me this long email with lots of clauses and codes. And so I started thinking, like, has she sent me an email before? Maybe I missed it. So now she mad and sending me all these codes and stuff. So I just reached out. I was like, hey, got your email. I saw you had a lot of information in there. Did I miss an email or a phone call? She was like, no, I just want my child to have a 504. And so I was like, well, what do you mean when you say this? She had put something in there that I didn't even understand. She was like, well, I don't know what it means. I just know I want my child to have a 504. Bam, you literally emailing me something you don't even know what you're talking about. So, eh, back to my very first slide, we're always going to use it with integrity and we're always going to make it our own. Like, we don't ever want to send something to somebody or create a presentation where it's not even your feeling. It doesn't even feel like you. So when you're saying it, it doesn't even sound like your style. You want to make sure that whatever output the tool gives you, that you refine it and you make it your own. Same for content creation, same for automating flows. So the first part of this, that the first part, like the registration, I changed that format twice because first they gave me like a navy blue. That's not a part of my color scheme. Why are you giving me a navy blue registration form? So you want to make sure that it's you, it feels like you, is true to your style or your brand or whatever you're doing. And if you're in a classroom, you can customize it to fit your theme. Teachers love a good theme. And so you can customize systems to match your theme so that every newsletter you send home or every um whatever you send, it has that same feeling. And you're like, oh yeah, I know that's from Miss Martin. Yeah, I know this from Miss Russell. So you want to make sure that you're staying true to who you are and your branding as you're using these tools. When we think about prompting, so I just showed you what I do to mostly all of mine. I go back and say, rewrite this or act as this person. But a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, all the time, the output that we get is based on the input that we give. And so if you write a bad prompt, you're probably going to get a vague response. And so the more clear you are in your prompting, the better response and the better outcome you're going to get. We are not replacing our creativity. We are enhancing our productivity. So it's still us, it's still our thoughts. I tell the skeptics that AI can't do anything without me. It cannot do anything unless I put something into it. Even if it's an agent that's doing work for me, I have to give it information in order for it to put out a product. And so we're not losing our brain power. We're not losing our creativity. We're just giving a part of the instructions to a tool so that it can help us work better. Also, make sure that you secure your platforms. So whatever platform you're using, make sure that you have those privacy settings. There's a multi-factor authentication in almost every tool. Turn it on. Yes, it is a pain in the tail to have to get your computer, log in, and then get your phone to get a code to approve it because your phone may be in the other room. But when I say it's better to be safe than sorry, it's definitely better to be safe than sorry. And also, one key tip that we had a cybersecurity presentation the other day, and one thing that I hadn't thought about was if you're given these tools, because now Claude is pretty much running my emails with my approval, but running my emails. If you're giving access to these tools, you want to take out those important email. So like if you have your bank account on there, you may want to create another email just for your bank account, your financial information. I don't feel comfortable giving AI tools access to that information. And so I will be creating another separate account for those just because it's just an extra sense of security. Make sure that your passwords are strong. Don't use the same password for everything. You want to make sure that you have diverse passwords. And if you have old lingering emails out there, like Some people still got their AOLs or their Hotmails that they don't even open or use, but some of your passwords may have been used. Well, it was used. And so you want to make sure to clear out that digital footprint. You don't want to leave any old accounts that may leave you viable to hackers, or because anything that's good, there's some element of bad in there. We think about the internet, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good until it's not, until it gets in the wrong hands. And so the same thing with AI, we just want to make sure that we are securing those platforms. So your action for today, whether you're new, been using these tools for a long time, or whether or not you are feel like you're a master at them. You want to choose, because we can always grow. Even myself, I'm choosing my focus today. I just chose my focus. My focus is about to be sending these businesses in right here in Hampton, right up the street from me, these emails tomorrow. That's going to be my work because chat has given me my assignment. I'm going to choose my focus. That is my focus. I'm going to take the action. I'm going to measure it to see if I'm getting results from it. And that's going to help me build momentum. And so this concludes this portion of my presentation. If you need to contact us, here's my phone number. Here is our email address and our website, as well as Ignite with Inga Parker. I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, which I'm not over there too much, but I'm on there, and also on LinkedIn. Parker Prime Solutions right now is on Instagram, but expanding. And the difference, somebody asked me the other day, what's the difference between Parker Prime Solutions and Ignite with Inga Parker? Parker Prime Solutions is the overarching, which my husband runs most of that. That's the overarching brand. And so he focuses on building websites, building apps, building agents, the whole technical component, automating systems, that technical component. I focus on workshops, trainings, keynote speaking, going into schools and districts and organizations to help simplify tasks. My main focus, because I know how bad burnout can be, my main focus is to simplify tasks, save time. Okay, simplify tasks and save time. If you enjoyed this presentation and you want to continue the work, let's work together. So this is my very first Zoom live by myself. And so I'm so grateful that you all decided to join. And I have a founding cohort. I'm going to lead beginning Thursday, lead into my first cohort of helping people save time and create systems. It's time to create some systems. We don't have to work. It's time out for all that hard work, right? We have we have tools that can help us create systems so that we don't have to work so hard. And so I'm going to share my offer. But I'm also going to drop in the chat my feedback form. So if you're interested in signing up, please click on this link, the Ignite Flow Path. And if you are not, then you can click on the feedback form and please leave some feedback. Give me some honest feedback. As an educator, I don't want no fluff feedback. If it wasn't good, say it wasn't good so I can get better. Okay? I would love some good, honest feedback. So this is my offer. Again, an automated system that I created using Base 44. I am starting a 4-week group coaching session. That will be a group session for 197. If you're interested in live coaching, we'll be meeting every Thursday in August from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, where you'll be able to get some individualized support with building systems and automating systems and workflows so that you can save some time. If you don't want to work with a group and you prefer to work one-on-one, I have a 90-minute intensive, and that is $297. If you want to work by yourself, but you feel like you need more than one session, I have a private coaching session, and that's $597. And if you're not interested in any of that, but you know somebody who may be interested in connecting, or you're connected to a school, a district, a nonprofit, a business, a church, or organization, and you don't mind making a connection and sharing that information, please fill out a consultation request so that I can reach out to the appropriate person and begin to um, create some connections. So that is my offering, and that is all I have. I'm going to drop those in the chat, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. Any other questions? Well, if not, it is 7 o'clock on the dot. I want to thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I had some great questions and good participation. So I certainly appreciate you all being here today, and thank you for joining me.
This is
Have
great.
a thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you all, even regardless of what level you are, I hope you all gained some nuggets, got some nuggets from it. Please complete the
Definitely.
feedback form so that I'll know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.